What's going on, everybody? It's Rodionka, and I'm here with another video. This time, we're doing a Destiny 2 video. That's right, I'm bringing in the Destiny videos now. I said I was going to do it, and I just wanted to grind levels a little bit. I just wanted to, get high up in the levels before I made a video like this, so that way I could really understand what I want to make a video on, and so that way I could make an honest opinion on it. So, I am sorry about the bad thumbnail that you guys are looking at right now. My thumbnail skills are not the best, as you know, but I make do with what I have, so it is what it is. But this video is going to be called My Loadout for Destiny 2 right now. Now, what that means is that it's basically going to be my 3 weapons that I think I use the most in the game at the moment. And there will be some honorable mentions at the end of the video, but these 3 weapons are the 3 weapons that I think I use the most in the game. And that's just based on what I've been doing throughout 2 characters. Because right now, I have 2 characters almost at 300. And I switched these guns between my 2 characters. These 3 guns in particular. With the exception of a few, which I said I'll mention at the end. But these 3 feel like the weapons that I just love to use the most. Now, one of them, you guys might be like, oh my god. But I will get into it and I will explain to it. Which is why it's only 3. Because I'm going to go in depth with it. So I went into some public events, just standard public events, where the enemies are just normal enemies, nothing ridiculous, nothing like overpowering, but also managed to get heroic events to spawn on these. So I also tested the weapons against very high power enemies as well. And I have taken these into the raid, and I have beaten the raid with them. So these handle very well in any situation, is what I have figured out. Now again, this is my opinion, and you do not have to agree with it, because I like, spoiler for what the guns are going to be, or at least 2 of them, I like scout rifles. So 2 of these weapons happen to be scout rifles. That's just my opinion. You might think completely different, but if you're like me, then I would suggest you listen to this video, because I'm going to go in depth as to why these 3 weapons in particular are very good. So starting off, we're going to be doing Nameless Midnight. Now this gun is arguably, in my opinion, one of the best scout rifles in the game at the moment, next to the Madrugada multi-tool. Because not only is the fire rate good, but the reload is quick, and the damage output is really, really good. So with that being said, it's also free. You get this gun for free, not even finishing the campaign. So you don't even have to finish the story mode in order to get this weapon. And best of all, if you like it that much, you can get it 3 times, so that way you can have one on each character. Now, I messed up, and I didn't do that because I didn't know the potential of this weapon, but this weapon is honestly a monster. I love it. Now, again, I like scout rifles. I have since Destiny 1. Like, I loved the Chaos Dogma. I loved the Burning Eye. Those 2 things were like my children. I loved them. Now, this one does not have explosive rounds. This one does not have anything like that, not triple tap, but even so, it melts everything. It melts the red bar enemies, as you see in the video, and it also puts in good damage on the yellow bar enemies, which is why I use it in the raid. It's my go-to weapon for everything I do right now. I just absolutely love it, and like I said, it's free. You get it by, spoiler alert, when you are going through the campaign, and you manage to get the Vanguard back together. Zavala has you do 3 strikes to initiate the strike protocol again. Once you do that, he gives you the option between 3 Vanguard weapons. The Origin Story, which is the auto rifle. I do not remember what the name of the pulse rifle is off the top of my head, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about if you are following me on this whole thing already. And then there is the Nameless Midnight, which is the scout rifle from the Vanguard. And like I said, this is arguably comparable to the Madrugada multi-tool. Now, the Madrugada multi-tool might have a higher fire rate. I did not check that before I made this video, but what I do know is that it is comparable, because all of my friends and all the people I've played with have been using this gun, and they say it is a very good gun. So I'm not lying when I say give it a shot, give it a chance, and you might just like it, because I know I do, and I know a lot of people do. So now, moving into the second weapon that we have a weapon that people have been talking about, that people are mad about, that people just absolutely adore. It's mixed opinions, and that is the Cold Heart. Now, my opinion on this is that it is a very good gun. It is the first of its kind that we've had in Destiny, which it's not really that big of a deal, but it is a very cool thing, because we've never had a weapon like this. And this is a trace rifle, is what they classify it as. Now, when you want to infuse to it, you have to use auto rifles, because there are no other trace rifles in the game. But The Cold Heart is one of those guns where it's love or hate, because it's not a gun that you want to use in every fight. There are definitely better weapons to use in a standard fight. Like, if you're just going around doing public events like I did here, it might not shine as well as if you're doing, like, say, pools in the raid, or Callus in the raid, where this thing's damage output will be greater. Because, for those of you that don't know, one of the perks on this weapon, I think it might even be the main perk, is that the longer the beam is in contact with an enemy, the more the damage will stack. So for like something like Callus, where you're just jumping from plate to plate and you're continuously shooting that beam at him, if you're getting critical hits, your damage will just keep going up. Now granted, he is a raid boss, so the damage might not be that noticeable, but you will see that I go after the yellow bar boss that spawns from the heroic public event, and this thing actually puts in a lot of damage when I start landing those shots repeatedly. Now, when I say shots, I mean just the beam, because this doesn't fire actual shots. It's just a beam. But this thing melts enemies like that. On the other side of that coin, like I said, there are those enemies that it just shouldn't be used against, because like a red bar legionnaire, or a red bar scion, or a red bar whatever, you can take that out with any gun. If your guns are high enough, you can take that out with a normal weapon, and a Cold Heart is not something for that. You might want to save that exotic slot for something else. So, in that instance, Cold Heart might not be the thing you want to go with. But on the same note, if it's the highest gun you have, and it's the best thing you got, then don't be afraid to use it, because it is a good gun. Just you'll realize as you get better weapons that this might only be a weapon you use in certain instances, such as the raid, such as strikes, such as public events like this where you spawn in the heroic public event. You might want it for that, but for regular fights you might not want it, because I know that's where I am with it. And now, going into the last one in this video, we have a weapon that I'm sure you guys did not expect. It is going to be a rare, but as I'm recording this video, I actually found out that there is the same exact gun given out by Future War Cult, and it is called the Pleiades Corrector. Now that is the legendary name of this one. The one you're seeing in the video is actually the rare version, which is called the Madrugada Sr2. Now this thing was instantly a gun that I loved, and for many reasons. But the main reason, and for those of you people who play Destiny 1, I know you will appreciate this. This is literally a replica of the Chaos Dogma. And if you liked the Chaos Dogma, then you will adore this weapon. Now the only thing it does not have, and I don't know if the perks vary, because I'm not sure about that. This is the only one of this gun that I have had, but it does not have triple tap. Now, with that being said, I don't think it needs it, because this is one of those weapons that the fire rate is so good that you can land shots repeatedly given that your trigger finger allows it. So, with me, I have a pretty good trigger finger, so I can just shoot this gun as fast as I want. Granted, there's a little bit of a delay, but it's nothing ridiculous compared to some other scout rifles in this game, which is why I compare it to the Chaos Dogma, where the Chaos Dogma, as long as you could shoot fast, you could stack shots because the delay was very minimal in between each shot. So, that is why this gun is so good. Now, the Pleiades Corrector is the better option in my opinion, because you can infuse that, whereas the Madrugada, you cannot infuse that. Now, the damage output, I've learned, is about the same, because the rate of fire and the impact are just about similar. But, with that being said, again, you can level up the Pleiades Corrector. You cannot level up the Madrugada. So the Madrugada, you have to get lucky and get a good drop, which I got on this one. I got it to drop at 284. So, that wasn't bad for where my character was. But then when I went to Future War Cult and I turned in all my tokens, I got the Pleiades Corrector, which now I know this thing is the same exact gun, just legendary. And I was even saying that to myself when I was recording this, saying I wish there was a legendary version of this gun that acted the same and played the same, but you could level it up. And that's exactly what I found out, and I'm actually really happy about that, because now I can share that with you. The other fantastic thing about the Pleiades Corrector that the Madrugada does not have is that when you get kills with this weapon, you temporarily get granted increased damage. Now that can stack up to 3 times. So just imagine, you kill one enemy, you reload. You kill another enemy, you reload. And then you kill another enemy, you reload. That is 3 stacks of increased damage that this gun will be putting out on top of its original damage, and this thing already has really good impact. So that is just gonna melt through enemies like there is no tomorrow from personal experience. Now again, I did not get footage of this gun because I got the footage of the Madrugada, but they act the same except for that perk. But the Pleiades corrector with that increased damage stack, it makes a difference. Now, is it make or break for the gun? No, not in my opinion. But it does help. If you are struggling to kill the enemies, those extra stacks could make or break your life. If you are on the edge of dying and you have those damage stacks, you might kill that enemy before it kills you. Whereas if you don't, you might die. So that is something to consider. But again, I'm a scout rifle person, so I've learned how to use them. I've learned how to maneuver with them. And just like that, this one also has lightweight, which lets you move faster with the weapon. So if you're using it on a warlock like I am, where they're very heavy and they're very low resilience and low mobility, then this is good because it gives you that little bit of extra mobility that the character needs. And you do feel it. If you have enough of the extra mobility, you feel it. So it definitely helps. Now, again, this is all my opinion. You do not have to agree with me whatsoever, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I shed some light on the whole situation with this and how I feel about these particular guns and just these guns in general, like scout rifles, trace rifles, you know, all that. There are definitely better guns in the game, don't get me wrong. This is just based off what I said I like. So with that being said, again, you have to take into consideration you're your own player. You are you. So what you like is what you should use. I use what I like because it gets me through what I want to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helps you guys a little bit if you guys are new to Destiny or if you guys are stuck between what guns to use. Maybe this will give you something to use. Maybe this will give you options on where to branch out to. If you are an auto rifle person, you might want to start using scout rifles. Or if you never used the Cold Heart because you thought it wasn't a good gun and you've never done the raid or anything, you might want to start using it now because it's a really good gun. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's been Untitled, you guys, and peace out.